Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to Trail Talk. I am so glad you could join us today. We have a really special guest here with us. This is Teresa Young, and you guys maybe recognize Teresa. I think that she has been here around the Duncan area her entire life. Is that what you told me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Teresa and I have known each other for a really long time, probably about 30 years. We probably drifted in and out of knowing.
We're just 45,
going
aren't we?
on.
About
Yeah.
45. So
We were babies when we met. So, but we are so glad you're watching today. I think you're going to be really kind of interested and blown away with some of the things that Teresa has going. But, and we're live here at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. So want to be sure and
with
add
us
that.
cowboys.
Yeah, we got some cowboys behind us.
Cowboys behind
Yeah.
us.
So Teresa, you've lived here all your life. So kind of tell us how you made it from, growing up here in Duncan to being the proprietor of is it Fox Hollow? The Fox Hollow Studio.
Yeah.
Which, if you haven't heard about the Fox Hollow Studio, you're going to know all about it by the time this is over. So tell us how all this kind of happened.
How it transpired.
Mm-hmm.
The studio basically came about. We owned a building in Comanche. My husband's a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
And he did all his carpenter work out of this building in Comanche. My father owned a furniture store in Comanche, and after we closed it down, we took one of the buildings, and that's where we did all of I kind of had a studio in part of it. We kind of thought we'd have a studio in there.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband was working out of the back of the building, and so one day he just was doing a lot of work in Duncan, doing his carpentry.
Mm-hmm.
And we just felt like it'd be more easier if we could move his work to Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking for a building in Duncan.
Which, I mean, as a realtor,
you
might have a little insight.
On that. So I found this building and I took him to it one day, and my vision was to put garage doors down the side and make it into a building for him.
Mm-hmm.
And we bought it, and that was the idea. And one day I walked in and he just said, "It's not going to work." He just said, "I can't get the ventilation right. I've ordered a building to come in the back to put my saws in, and
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to make the front part of this building a studio for you to work in. You need to invite your friends over and do your art thing and make this a studio." And I thought, well, that would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. It's never in the plans in the beginning.
So have you always played around with art? Do you consider yourself an artist?
For a long time I didn't,
Uh-huh.
but art has always been a part of my life.
Uh-huh.
I've always loved art. As a young girl, I took art lessons. I did watercolor as a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
So truly, art has always been a part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved to do anything artistic.
Mm-hmm.
About 10 years ago, I started traveling and doing mixed media work, and got real interested in doing, I tried scrapbooking, but that wasn't my thing.
Right.
And I got into making cards for a while. I loved the paper and artistic part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just like any artist I found. I think you just have to keep playing with different mediums until you find what's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just through the years. And so I started traveling and going to different art events I found out about.
Mm-hmm.
And started meeting people from around the country and meeting different artists. And the more I learned, the more you were around more artsy people, the more it grew on you. And you share and learn from each other.
Like the creativity just
It grows on you.
grows more creativity
Yeah.
and
And being with creative people, it's inspiring.
Mhm.
It makes you inspired to go back and be creative yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
believe that. I mean, I've talked to a number of artists on Trail Talk. And every time I talk to someone, I think, oh my goodness, I walk away feeling like, I think I could do something, just a
You
little
do.
inspired or something,
do. Yeah.
So then you met people. Where did the desire to open a studio come from? Like, how long has that been something you wanted to do?
Well, what happened with this studio, I had so much art supplies and things at home that I really did not have room for, that I couldn't, it's this out of sight, out of mind thing that I had so much that I couldn't even get to, that as I started bringing it to the studio and setting it out, I realized how much I had,
Mhm.
and I was really enjoying using all the things I had. And then I started thinking, well, I should invite so-and-so that I've met and have them come teach. And then I can invite all my friends over and we can have a class. Well, that's kind of what all began. And then COVID hit.
Right.
And I had met some girls prior to COVID right in there. Didn't even know this group of ladies prior to then, but I had met them coming to some classes I had taught there at the studio. I had taught a few classes, open to the public. And and that kind of happened because my husband was kind of pushing me to teach some classes. And so
Sometimes we all need
yeah,
that.
and I had taught classes. I have to say, I had taught some class. I had done classes for the CTAC.
Okay. Right.
I do those yearly, as you know, just to help them out.
Mhm.
I have always done that for them.
Mhm.
And so there was a group of women that said, could we maybe not just get together? I'm just so lonely for people. We could spread out and not get close to each other, because you have room in there where we could all get together and not be near each other.
Right.
And still create. And I said, that's a great idea. So we started journaling together. And there is a thing that's very, very popular right now called junk journaling. And this group started, and it really started a bonded of friendship of this group of women.
Okay, so I have to say, I'm obviously not in the right circles because this is the first time I've heard of junk journaling.
So
I have not heard
so-
of this before, Teresa.
So anyone can go on YouTube and put in junk journaling, and you're going to find there is tons of videos on junk journaling. But it's basically using things that you don't use anymore in a journal. It's like old ledger paper, old letters, old envelopes that you toss, and they take those and reuse them into making journals out of them. And they reuse old paper. And or they'll take paper bags, or they'll take envelopes, and they'll take this whole series of things and make a journal out of it.
Okay, so you know what this is? This is like a re-emergence of the
Recycling.
the ledger art
Yes.
that Native Americans did way back when they were especially like some of the
Yes.
Comanche Indians, that they were arrested and taken to a prison in
Totally.
Florida, and they would give them scraps of
all about
paper and ledger sheets and things like that, and they would create art on it. We have a couple of pieces in our gallery
Basically, same thing.
of ledger art. That is so cool.
And
I
it's-
love it when things happen like
And
that.
I have always loved, I've always hated throwing things away and looking at it and thinking, oh, there's got to be some use for that,
Mhm.
and so it's a way of recycling things. And so it's a real fun group. And we also started doing like tags every month, and we would come up with a theme. And I brought some of those tags, and like we would come up with a theme, and all the group, everybody would like this month, let's do the color blue and lace. And everyone in the group would make a tag and bring one. And everybody in the group would get one that person made. And then we'd all go home with, all new tags.
Right.
And we would use those tags.
Okay.
You would have tags made by everyone to put in these journals that you're making.
Okay, so explain, you said you started journaling together. So immediately I'm thinking,
We're making the journals that you can, and these journals people go, and that's the next question people ask you. So what do you do with these journals?
right,
Well, after you get done with them, you put hours into them making them. And sometimes they're just pretty.
mhm,
Sometimes some people go to elaborates, they love to make them pretty and add lace to them. And then there's some people that like the grunge look and like the grungy look, but some people put inspirational messages in there. Some people like to put their favorite Bible verses in them.
mhm.
And some people actually use them for therapeutic reasons, just to go and actually journal every day. I mean, everybody uses journals for different reasons.
Interesting.
And I'm a person that I've always loved. I'm a magazine person. I tear out things that are interesting to me on
Mhm.
magazines. And so that's what I always use my journals for, is saving things from our magazines. And so my journals get really thick.
Mm-hmm. And so you have a shelf or something with your journals? Are they labeled, or do you just know which one is which, or you just,
There's no rhyme or reason.
yeah,
Yeah, I just love them.
that is so fun.
Yeah.
Wow. So interesting. So your studio, you've been a bit of a teacher for a number of years, and this studio has allowed you to, first of all, uncover all of your little treasures that you have to create.
And people think it's a store. And so that's another thing, because it is so full of all my treasures.
Right.
People drive by and we see them driving by, and it's not an 8 to 5 store. It's not open to the public every day. We only open it during hours when we have classes. Okay.
Right.
So there's nothing for sale in there.
Mhm.
I might have, like I'll buy up some maybe supplies for a class
Right.
to sell during that, or I might have some jewelry that I've made that I might have for sale during a class or something.
But you don't have art or these
No.
things that you've created
No.
just out for people to go in and
No,
purchase.
and so that's, people have a misconception because they drive by and it is very pretty looking in.
Mhm.
So people drive by a lot and they come up and knock on the door and they want to know when the studio's open. So we're only open for class time.
Okay.
And so that's the only time we're open.
Mhm.
And so, but it is a pretty studio.
So how would someone find out about a class?
So we have a Facebook page
Mhm.
and we have an Instagram page. And on Instagram, it's Fox Hollow Studio. It's all one word, Fox Hollow Studio.
Mhm.
And I have a webpage, foxhollowstudio.com.
Mhm.
And then I have, on Facebook, you can just put in Fox Hollow Studio. There's a page,
Right.
and I advertise all the classes on there.
Okay.
And then you can message me, and if you're interested in being on an email list for the classes, I'll email you
Mhm.
also and tell you about classes.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people tell me, would you shoot me a text or shoot me an email? Some people like text.
Right, though, that's true. So when you do your classes, are you always the teacher?
No, we are trying right now about 3 minimum, at least, times a year to have guest artists come. Because I've been fortunate enough to meet so many talented people. Like, for example,
Well, is your friend who's watching, is she still on there?
well, like I've had friends, my friends. Hi, Julie.
We're really glad you're watching today, Julie.
Yes,
by
we
the
are,
way.
Julie. They come, people will drive from, we're really lucky because this brings in people from out of state to Duncan.
Mhm.
And so bringing in these artists into Duncan, which I think is the best part of the studio. I mean,
Right.
because me being able to bring these people into the studio, like this artist here, her name was Julie Haymaker that came to this studio.
Mhm.
And she's an incredible artist, and she lives in Tucson, Arizona. And she came for 3 days actually and taught.
Mhm.
And I had her come in and teach something from as basic as doing shrinky dinks. And we started on a Friday evening and doing something very, very basic
Mhm.
that people who had never done anything at all craft-wise,
Mhm.
that could come in and learn to do something that they could do to maybe do Christmas gifts that were very affordable for
Right.
family and friends. And, to me, that's really important.
Mhm.
And that's the things that I teach in the classes, I try to think on a skill level that it's something anyone can do.
Mhm.
No matter if I have these people who think they're not crafty. Everyone is crafty. They are crafty or creative or whatever you want to call it, because you're creative regardless if you think it or not.
Right.
Because you may be a cook,
Mhm.
you may be a gardener,
Mhm.
but you're creative. But I put the skill level to where it's something, no matter who you are, you can come in and do it.
Mhm.
And because I want it to be where you can come in and enjoy it.
Right. And not feel pressure.
I want you to be able to have
Yeah.
fun and if you come in with a friend, you can just have a good time
Mhm.
and leave with something that you'll be proud to have.
Mhm.
And like, for example, these angel wings we made,
Mhm.
the girls left after this and they were so excited, and I taught them techniques that they could do, making other things. And there were girls who had never done anything at all like
Mhm.
this. And so we had the wood cut out for them. And, it was just, and a lot of them made them for gifts for people. Some made them for wedding gifts. And like I said, and this right here, just going back to Julie, like I said, this was a more detailed class, but for people who wanted to try it, Julie was willing to teach people who had never done anything
Mhm.
artistic wise. I
Mhm.
mean, it didn't matter who you were. You could come to this class and still do it.
So are the classes always like multi-day?
Generally,
classes?
when I teach, we do either I generally try to do it where someone, if they work, they can come.
Mhm.
And no matter, most of the classes are like 6:30 to 8:30 in the evening.
Mhm.
Every once in a while, we'll have one during the 1 to 3 in the afternoon.
If you have enough people.
If we have
who
enough
can.
people who
Uh-huh.
can,
Mhm.
we'll do it in the afternoon.
Mhm.
I have a lot of people that contact me that have 4-H groups and have homeschoolers.
Right.
And I generally do them probably as much as I do the adult classes.
Interesting.
They like to come in, and I come up with something according to the age level. And like, this is one of the things we did last Christmas with
Mhm.
some of the homeschoolers, a little Christmas project. And so they called and said, I've got 6 little girls that want to do a Christmas project.
Mhm.
And so, of course, I did it all in pink for them.
Right.
So,
Right, yeah.
but they call and they tell me, what they want. And I've even done a birthday party before.
I was gonna ask about
Yeah.
that. That's kind of a fun thing to do, is
It
have
is.
a party of some sort
Yes.
at some kind of a studio. So that would be very fun.
But the only thing I don't do is we do have a studio in town, and I don't want to compete with somebody else who already offers this in the community. I mean, I don't do watercolor or oil painting classes. I don't do that. Mine is more very different types of arts and crafts classes.
Right, and it appears that mixed media is kind of your thing.
It is. It's very, very much my thing. This is a fabric class that we do. This is what we call a snippet roll. These are real popular right now. These are where you're taking all of your leftover fabrics and sewing them together. And this is a class that we had just here recently, where you take all your leftover fabric and buttons and lace and you sew them all together.
So, like if I signed up to come to a class to make one of these snippet rolls, what would I need to bring with me, and what would be there already?
Generally, any class that you take that I'm teaching when you come to class, I will provide pretty much everything you need. I will tell you bring pair of scissors, a straight edge, maybe a type of glue with you, and I'll tell you what type of glue to bring. But all of your supplies I will include with the price.
So when you say that sewn together, is that on a sewing machine, or is it hand by hand?
Now, this particular class, yes, this one has sewing done with it, but
Okay.
this class with this group, they came and did it with a machine. Okay, this was a small group, but if I was going to teach this to a larger group, I would probably have it pre-sewn, the sewing part for you.
Right.
And then I would let the hand stitching part be done in the class.
Right, yeah.
So I do a lot of pre-work
Mm-hmm.
for people when it's going to be a larger class.
Mm-hmm.
I like to try to make it easier for you. So just like I was saying earlier, when I know it's going to be a large group and you're coming, and another reason for this is that I try to keep the cost down in classes.
Right.
I want to keep the cost down because I know that money's tight, and a lot of these women have children in school, and so I just want to keep it to where they can afford to do this and still have something that's something beautiful to take home.
Right, right. So, did you attend a lot of classes yourself? Have you been a student in a lot of classes? I mean, I'm wondering how you know how to set up for a class, especially if you're providing everything.
I've been to a lot of classes. Yeah.
Is that something that you would travel to attend? Like you said, people come from out of state even to attend the classes at Fox Hollow. Is that something that you did?
Yes. Most of these people that are coming and teaching are people that I've met and formed these, we've all bonded and formed these friendships together through the years.
At classes? Okay.
So I've been really fortunate in that way.
So how would you have found out about a class that was some
well,
other state?
it's just like anything. You've got to go, you go to one and you go to one of these events, and when you're there, everyone's talking about events they've been to, and then you hear about other events that these people have been, and you know, when you're at something like this, it's just like going to a convention.
Right.
That's all they're talking about.
Right.
It's that subject.
Uh-huh.
And like, for example, I went in this past May, I went to California, and there was probably like 5 teachers there that taught 5 totally different types of art types of projects. And I met a lady there from Oregon that invited me to come to Vermont in April to do a week of junk journaling with a group of 25 women.
Wow.
So
are
you
you
know,
going?
yes, yes. And you know, it's fabulous, the
Right.
place and everything.
Right.
But that's the thing, you meet people, you make new friends, and I mean, but the experiences that the opportunities to learn more new things, and yeah.
Which I will say is the common thread of every artist, no matter what, performing art, visual art, whatever the art is, they're always looking for a way to learn something new, to stretch themselves, to push themselves,
Right.
you know, to enhance their skill set.
Absolutely.
And I just love that
I
so
do too.
much when I talk to people
Yeah.
who are, I mean, you said everyone is creative, but people who produce art, you know, that thing is in you and you need to get that out, and to, you know, to be able to never be satisfied with what you're doing, but
Never.
always want to,
Yeah.
you know, learn something new. I just think that's a great
Thanks.
characteristic of really amazing people. So I'm just so enthralled. I love the idea of these. It's a community. And what you're describing to me is a community of people.
Yes.
And how you have been able to, you know, just expand your circle of friends through this community.
It is. And what I'm loving the most about it, it touches my heart that people leave that little building and they say, oh my gosh, this has just done me so much good today. Oh my gosh, I needed this. I mean, it just almost brings tears to your eyes sometimes,
Right.
because you don't realize how much someone needed just to be out and to have just an afternoon or an evening just to be with people and to create and to have this time like this. And I guess I do it so often that I forget. And I've been able to experience people coming into the studio, and it's so rewarding for me to see these people leaving and the overwhelming feeling that they're getting. And I just hope that more people will learn about it and can experience it with them, because it's really rewarding.
I just love it. I love it that our friend Gina Fletcher connected us on about this, because I didn't know that this was something
And
you did.
she's a regular in there.
Yeah. But I mean, to just know, now that I know that Foxhole Studio is here in town, I mean, it's just one more really great, thoughtful place for people to come together in Duncan.
Yes.
You know, we have so many places like that.
And Duncan's a great place. And that's why I have family that will come here to shop over when they live in Dallas. And you probably know this too. You probably have family like this. They want to come to Duncan, and I used for years, I think, you want to come here?
Right.
And now I understand that Duncan is a great place. And so now I want these people to come here and see what a great place we have.
Yeah. So tell the piece, the viewers about when you have an out of town or out of state artist come to teach, kind of what that, you said usually it's 3 days?
Yes.
A 3-day,
A couple of days. They
a
do
2 to 3 day event, what all that would include, because I think this is phenomenal.
Well, what we're doing is that when they're coming in, I want to share content with people. So what I'm doing is when they come in, I'm contacting, local Airbnb people and setting up these girls with some of our local Airbnbs and putting them up in their places.
Mhm.
And, if you want to stay in our hotels, and then after I help them all find accommodations, then I set up a list of all the, of course, usually this group of girls love shopping. They want to go shopping all the places. So I make up a whole big shopping list of all of our stores and just send out the week before they all arrive of all the places they need to make sure they hit. And, and then I contact our local Main Street people, and they're so terrific about, doing an evening, like entertainment or after hours, or they'll find out when we're going to be ending a class and they'll stay open late for us, or they'll come and I just at the last class, I have one come in and drop off discount coupons, so the girls could come in afterwards. It's so great. And then I have one of our local people here cater the meals for the lunches. And, and then they see how fabulous, how lucky we are. And they're like, these people are coming from like Austin. I have like, this last class, I had people from Austin, San Antonio, Shreveport, Kansas City, some people from up around Wichita, the Dallas area. And, they're so impressed, with what we're giving them.
Sounds like we might
Our
need to
little
get
town of
some-
24,000 people,
Right.
they're like so impressed.
I think maybe we need to get some Chisholm Trail Heritage Center passes
Oh, absolutely.
in on the
Well,
next
actually,
one.
some of the girls came out here. I sent someone out here, and actually the teacher and her husband and them came out because
Oh, really?
I told them, I said, you're gonna love it when it rains.
Yeah.
In the movie,
Yeah.
I said, because it really fit, you really gonna
Yeah.
feel like it. And they did, they came back,
Oh,
and
my
they
goodness.
they came out.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
We need to get together next time you
Yeah.
have a outside out
Because
state.
I've sent them out here.
Well, but I love the way all of the merchants, the lady who cooks for you, if you said her name, everybody would know.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way everyone is so willing to come together
Oh, they're wonderful.
just to roll out the red carpet
They're so great.
for whoever is coming to town.
And these people just are like so amazed, and it's wonderful. It's
Mhm.
wonderful, but it's the truth. We have a great town here.
Right.
And
And
we're
I
so
mean, they
fortunate.
can even appreciate some true fine art, some, gallery pieces like we have a gallery.
know.
SeaTac always has
Oh, I
someone,
know.
someone's art out
Oh.
there. I mean, you can just really experience
So truly.
all types of things like that here. That might be one of the best parts of these classes
know.
that you do, Teresa,
Yeah.
honestly. So let's talk about some more of these things. I think it'd be fun to show people the journals that you're talking about.
Okay.
And your tags. So you said these tags, like you make or other people make them.
Well, these are just a
But-
few of them. I just kind of, it's like they all bring them in, and like everyone brings them in,
Mhm.
and they'll share them. And like I said, there'll be a theme. You can see where like the yo-yos, like talking about recycling. Here's the yo-yos was the theme
Okay.
1 month,
Uh-huh.
and
I can see that there are some terms that I'm unfamiliar with because I'm not in this community.
yeah,
right,
well, yo-yos are old from quilts.
Okay,
Those are
okay,
from old quilting,
okay,
you know, for
yes.
quilters. And I'm not a quilter, but
Mhm.
that's what those are.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, I recognize
Okay.
that as a,
And I'm a junkie for old lace. And
Okay.
so I use a lot of old lace, and this is what a lot of junk journalers do. And this
these
is
look
like
like some
recycled.
doilies.
Yes, and I cut them
Put together.
apart, you
Uh-huh.
know, and like, you know, these are some old file folders where, you know, they've been cut apart after they've been used, and, you know,
Oh, I see.
see.
And then they're
And that's
stitched up.
and that's in the envelope on the front, and then there's a little journal on the
Okay,
inside.
with a fancy little clasp on it.
Yeah, and and then the
Oh
old
my
journal
goodness.
pages.
Let's
Like-
turn that around for
And
people to
that's,
see
and,
right there.
and then you can see there's some music pages and old journal pages, old lace to make a pocket with.
And then that looks
That's
like
an old calling card.
Oh my goodness. And then, well, that's
That's
just,
like an old tea bag.
oh, okay.
Right
okay.
there,
And then
some
here's
of
a
them.
photograph of someone,
Yeah,
a family.
those are
maybe,
just
or
that you
just-
pick up like at flea markets
Oh,
and things.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I recognize so many of these things just from old whatnots I've seen that belong
Pieces
to
of
my
old
family.
wallpaper and
Mhm.
things like that. These are what people use in a lot of their junk journals.
Wow. And then you decorate the outside. Oh, that's really cool. The background of that.
It's
It's
just,
like
yeah,
the
it's
old
all
world maps
Mhm.
on there. Huh. And so you just put little things in there that you like,
Yeah.
or
You can do whatever you want if you want to.
sounds like there's no rules, y'all.
There's no rules, and that's the best part of it is there's not supposed to be rules. That way you can't break them.
Right, exactly.
You know, and this is for, and this is a very popular thing right now too. This is all digital art. And there's a lot of digital artists out there, and which I love this because my background was in graphic design, so I love it.
Okay, right.
And so this is all from digital art. And
So this
you
is
can
not
go-
old.
This
Is that what you're saying?
This is people that are publishing digital art out there. You can purchase
Mhm.
and print off on your computers and cut it out and make your own
Okay.
journals with it. And you can cut it out and make your own journals out of it and make it look old.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take your
Right.
sewing machine if you want to sew on it or whatever. So this is another why this is just, these are just all different styles.
Right, right. I don't know if I'm just being, not being free flowing enough in my thinking, but I'm just wondering, like, do you set this out somewhere for other people to enjoy? Or is this just like a personal thing that you have? You know what
Some
I'm
people set
asking?
them out, some people put them up, they keep, you know, like they can store, you know, some people might take that out and keep it for a journal and just store papers in it. You know,
Okay,
just
okay.
however someone would want to use it, you
Right,
know?
right.
And then, you know, sometimes, you know, you might want to give somebody a little gift card and it looked pretty.
Oh,
Here you made a
right.
beautiful little outline thing and you could stick a gift card in it and write inside that a little note to them. And
that's very cute. That's a very cute idea, honestly. That's what I mean, look, this is a more modern, but remember the artists that we had? They did all that mixed media. They were our featured artists. They were from Frederick or Hobart. Why can't I remember? I'm very sorry if you're watching. I apologize. We are going to look it up and put it in the comments. But
it's okay.
They made, I mean,
Oh, huge, yeah.
huge
Yeah.
things, but it looked,
A
some
lot-
of it looked very similar to this.
Oh, I'm sure if it's mixed
was-
media,
it
because
was
it's very mixed media.
Beautiful.
And
Uh-huh.
see, this is paper. This is a little paper Santa we did last year.
And he is super cute.
And this is just all leftover. We made it out of like,
just
some
different
leftovers. We did like little buttons for on the feet, some old
jewel
Chris.
things. Oh, the
little
little
crystals.
Christmas tree there in his hand. How
Yeah.
cute. And then
Yeah,
a little piece of,
this was a little
Bow.
class project.
that is
that I
very
had.
cute with the pocket.
Yeah.
It has a little thing in
And like
there.
I just, I told the girls, just bring glue and your scissors, and I had all the parts here,
Right.
to make this.
That is just really fun. So do you, like order, different kinds of things? Is this like like a certain
Yes.
paper company you like to use and things like that? Or how
No,
do you do?
I just, a lot of it, I just figure out the project and then I just go where I have to get wherever I have to find it. You just, depends on what you're doing.
So if you have someone coming in to teach 3 or 4 times a year, how many classes do you teach?
It just depends. I mean,
Do people contact you sometimes and ask for things? Is that how it gets on your
yes,
schedule?
yes.
Yeah.
If I've done a lot of like homeschool or done a lot of, like more like, it just depends on, I do a lot of things like for small groups, and then I might not be teaching anymore public, like advertised classes as
Right,
much in
right.
that time frame. But like right now, I'm planning to do 2 holiday classes, hopefully here before Christmas. And hopefully they'll be up on the website here within the next week. So if you'll be watching in the
Okay.
next week,
Very
I hope
good.
to have examples.
Right. So this is a Valentine's, and you said that's a little Easter
This was,
thing over
we did
there. I want
this
people to
last
see.
Easter, and we did this a couple of years ago, and then that was last
Oh, yeah.
Valentine's Day. We did that one, and with the clay Valentine heart on there. It was real fun to do.
So
Yeah.
they made their own clay heart.
Yes, everybody made their
Oh.
own clay heart and, did their own ruffle around it. And so I taught them how to do, that was a fun one because this is a really an old vintage bingo card that I found for everyone at a flea market. So everyone really kind of came out with a neat project with this one. Yeah.
That's very cute, just on a piece of.
And, and considering, I keep all the classes under $50.
Oh, that's good to know.
And,
Wow.
all the
That's really
classes are
reasonable.
under the, I mean, because that way it's, the only way that, unless if it's just wood or metal, otherwise, generally it's under $50 for any class.
So do you, like, I'm looking at these doilies. I have more doilies at my house than I would ever be able to use or give or whatever. So I'm like,
Do you see my eyes?
I
like
did.
glistening? Like,
I'm wondering, do people donate things?
all the time.
All the
I love them. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because I actually use them all the time. I mean, I just did, before I went to California, I did like probably 5 projects that I used. You would not believe how much lace and crochet material I used on them
Right.
that I had to carry with me.
Right. Well, I'm from that age that
You can't.
my grandmothers, my great grandmothers, my husband's grandmothers, everybody crocheted, everybody made rugs, everybody
I know.
did tatting and all of those kinds of things onto whatever, and nobody does that anymore. My
No.
kids don't know those people, so those things,
And
they don't mean anything
No.
to my children.
I know.
And so I wondered where it would be a good place to pass those on. So I'm thinking I may have hit pay dirt today. Because these are, I mean, to be able to be a part of this process that will brighten someone's day, or, you know, change the way someone sees themselves as far as being creative and, or whatever. I mean, I would love that.
The group,
That's-
I try to always have, lots of old lace and trim so that when we do these projects, it really is funny because, like, for example, when we did like this, you know,
uh-huh.
I pulled out baskets and I just, you know, I'll let you just pick out whatever you want
Right.
and let you just start trimming out your projects.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I always encourage is, like, I may be teaching the class and say, and anyone that's been in my class will tell you this. I encourage you to do your own thing. I don't want you to make it just like mine.
Right.
I want it to be
Right.
your project.
Mhm.
And like, if you were coming in there, I would say, you know, there's 7 other ribbons
Uh-huh.
to choose from. You go find the ribbons you want, make a big bow to go on the bottom if you want, or there's, you know, or if you want to change it up, there's a whole box of flowers, or if you want to put an egg up there. So I will offer you a variety of things to make it, you know, so you can use your imagination and
Mhm.
make it your project.
Mhm.
Because I don't
Right.
want it to look just like mine.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
I really encourage that.
So, yeah, what you do is you kind of give people just, here's the idea, here's the basic design, but everything about it now is going to be
Yeah.
yours
Yeah,
to
'cause
create.
I would hate for everybody to go home and everyone's look exactly alike and they not feel like it's their project.
Well, and it's nice that you do have baskets full of things so everyone can,
Oh,
you know, choose those things that, for
I-
whatever reason, catch their eye or appeal to them more.
because, you know, it would be like us going to a store and not all having to pick the same dress. I mean, because we're not all gonna pick the same dress. And so
Yeah.
that way everybody can choose what they like.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Well, I think this is so great. Fox Hollow Studio, y'all. I think that we have found a super cool, little, maybe lesser known studio here in Duncan. So maybe we're gonna be a little more known
Yeah.
after this. And
Thanks.
you have a class coming up on March 4th. Oh, these are two different classes.
Yes.
Two different classes. Rita Reed, from Mama Bell Art. Is that right? Is that the
Yes.
name of her?
She is Italian.
Okay.
And that's Italian.
Ah, yes, I see that now. And so she's going to be at Fox Hollow Studio March 4th and March 5th. This information, is this on your website?
Yes, it
Right
is.
now?
And I'm pretty certain that once January 1 comes, those classes will start filling up.
Mhm.
I think once everybody gets their schedules come January 1, it
Right.
will start filling up. So I would suggest, if you're interested, she is going to teach soldering classes, and it's going to be basic soldering in both of these classes. So if you ever had a desire to learn how to use soldering,
Mhm.
this would be an excellent time to come take this class. She is an excellent teacher. She's coming from San Diego, and beautiful projects. The first day is a book.
Right.
It's a closed book, and it has a domed glass
Okay, right, okay.
on the front of it, and you're going to solder the glass onto the front of the book,
Ooh.
and it's beautiful. And then the second day is a Madonna, and you're going to solder it on the top of a vintage bottle.
Oh, I see that.
So,
Yeah. So how many students will be able to be in each of these?
probably the maximum students will have in the class is probably 20.
Okay, so that could fill up very quickly.
Yes.
And when your holiday classes that you're gonna do, will 20 be about the
Yes.
size on
Oh,
those as
yeah,
well?
yeah.
Okay. So people are gonna need to get on that Fox Hollow Studio, either Insta, Facebook, or
Yes,
the
yeah,
webpage,
yes.
and be sure that they check this out.
Yes, the Instagram, if you're an Instagram person, generally I post on Instagram first
Mhm.
because my Instagram goes to Facebook. And so
Yeah.
I'll post it on Instagram and then it'll go to Facebook.
Yeah.
But
Well, Teresa, this has been so fun.
it's been
I have really loved
Good.
learning all of this, and I am just thrilled that you are a part of our community.
Thanks.
And just this level of fun and interest and travel experience, tourism that you add to just another one of those cool things about Duncan.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. We're so glad to be able to share this today. So you guys be sure and look up Fox Hollow. We'll have all that information in the comments section. Julie, thank you again for tuning in and watching today. Do you have any questions or anything for Teresa before we sign off?
No, I'm just so proud of her.
Oh,
That's so nice.
That's why I wanted to watch.
I'm glad.
Anyway, I'm at work, so I better go back to work.
thank you,
Okay,
Julie.
all right. Well, thank you so much. So
Thank you.
Yeah, whenever we sign off, we say happy trails. So
Oh,
are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we'll see you
Yeah.
guys next time. Happy
Good
trails.
trails.